Gentle Radical's kind of primary focus is the neighbourhood we're in. And whilst a good number of us live in Riverside, and some of us very close by, our interest is in what does it mean to have a long-term presence in a place. So Gentle Radical was established in 2016. Since then it's evolved and shifted over the years, and today we are around 12, 13 different kind of associates and collaborators within the group, working across not just creative practice, but also a whole range of disciplines. So from community development and land justice through to conflict resolution and faith-based and healing justice work. We've worked mainly in Cardiff over the last 5 years, running a whole range of cultural projects, platforms, community screenings, symposiums, and lots else. And we're interested in how we can use creative strategy to look at how we can shape kind of community change at local levels and really centre justice and transformation in all of the work.
Doorstep Revolution is a Gentle Radical project which really gives us an opportunity as a staff team to engage with the local community. So we literally went out and knocked on people's doors, communicated with them about having a conversation, to be involved in the conversation. And that conversation will develop from this point onwards.
I mean, one of the things I love about Doorstep Revolution, based in this area, all the work that we do in Gentle Radical is about Riverside. There is a wider community we know in Cardiff, but there is this community that is ours, that is Riverside, that needs continuity in order for us to build something together.
We talk a lot about labour in Gentle Radical, and therefore what is, there's the cultural labour, which is events and activities and all kinds of manifestations of the work, but then there's this other labour that's happening, and it's labour of kind of around radical care, it's around listening, it's around understanding. How do we kind of build different systems of living together? And I think that is a very deep ongoing conversation that we're always having together. And in some ways, I think the work we're presenting is trying to open perhaps a window onto some of that, would you say?
Yeah. When we first started having conversations about how do we take Gentle Radical, how do we take Gentle Radical as an idea, as a group of people, as a community, how do we distill it into a show that can sit in a museum for 3 or 4 months? And that's a big challenge. At the core of the show are a series of conversations. Those conversations were mainly held in pairs or small groups. And after those conversations, each person wrote a letter which reflected on those conversations and recalls what they took out of it, what the other person says. What were the lessons they took out of those conversations? What were the stories that really resonated and stayed with them? And so at the core of the show is a series of members of Gentle Radical reading letters. It's quite simple, really. It's a way of trying to hold together this idea that actually these conversations are a vital way of collectively reimagining the structures that govern our lives.
And we haven't all collectively actually made a work together. So this was like quite an interesting challenge for us. So I suppose the frame that you've been talking about, which is a conversational frame, which is very embedded naturally in our day-to-day work, became almost the most obvious frame to try and use. So we're looking forward to being able to kind of start hosting again, start hosting events again. We're looking forward to what the formations of that might be. We're also interested in what might start to happen when we think about the different possibilities of how we might approach a neighbourhood, or how a neighbourhood might approach itself. So we're really hoping in the coming year to be able to reinstate those kinds of spaces that give people the opportunity to meet again, to break bread together,